What's up everybody, Teancum here with Sew Yeah Quilting. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you make these trick-or-treat drawstring backpacks. Let's get started. As always, let's dive right on into the project. As you can see in front of me, I've already gone ahead and pre-cut my fabric. Of this cotton print right here, I've got 3 pieces that are exactly the same size, which is 15 by 18. And then this right here will be the lining of my backpack, which is also cut at 15 by 18. And also what I have here is 2 1/4 inch strips that I'll show you how you fold in just a second. But what we're going to do first is I'm going to work with my lining, and I'm going to just take my lining and separate these 2 pieces. I'm going to move these aside, and I'm going to take one piece of my cotton print with all the Halloween stuff on it, and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to lay it right on top of my lining fabric, just like so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a line straight down the middle here to attach this, which will be a pocket inside the bag, to the lining, and we'll be right back. Now that I have my pocket sewn onto my lining, what I'm going to do is take my other half of my lining, lay it down right sides together, right over the pocket, and I'm going to sew 3 sides closed, leaving the top open. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and sew that now. Now that I've sewn my linings together, I'm going to turn this right side out. That right there is what my lining's looking like with my pocket on the inside. I'm going to set this aside now. I'm going to start working on the outer portion of my bag and the straps. So for the straps, what I have here is a 2 1/4 inch piece of fabric. I'm going to open this up so everyone can see it. And I've tri-folded it, so I've folded it both ends to the center, and then folded it once more, which then gives me a 1/2 inch strap. From this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to just sew a 1/8 inch seam down one side just to close up this strap. So I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. And I'm also going to make 2 of these. I've already made the other one, so I just got to finish off making this one. So that's what the strap looks like at the end. So now it's time to connect them to our bag. Super easy to do. What we're going to do is put right sides together, just like we did on the last one. So I got my 2 pieces here. So now it's time to put these straps in. What I like to do is I open up the bottom here, and I put the strap in about the height where I would like it to be. And I'm going to slide this up so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put it in right there, and put the rest of it just inside. I'm going to do the same for the other side. So I've got my 2 straps in at the bottom. Then I'm going to fold this close. And then I'm going to take some pins, I'm going to pin down my ends. Now that I have my ends pinned, I'm going to open this up the other direction. And I'm going to pull my straps towards the top. That way I don't sew them at all, and there won't be any problems there. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to sew these 3 seams here, but when I get to my actual straps, I'm going to go over them a couple of times. So I'm going to take this back to the sewing machine. And I went over that strap probably 4 or 5 times just to make sure everything stays exactly where I want it. Now that I have this sewn and I've got my straps out the top, like this. I want to make sure everyone can see this at home. Got my bag here, my straps coming out the top. Now what our next step is to take our lining and we're going to stuff it inside of our bag here that I have in front of me. What I also like to do is I want to match my seams from the outside and outer part of my bag and the lining, and then I'll just take a pin through it. That way I know for sure that they'll line up in the end. So I got my pin there. I'm going to do the same on this side. Now with my two tail ends of my strap here, I'm just going to stuff them down inside the bag, and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam around the top of here, where we want to leave about a 4-inch opening. That way we can pull everything back through. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. And again, you want to leave that 4-inch opening so we can pull everything through. So now that I have my top sewn, I'm going to just pull the whole bag through itself, which then should have everything be facing the right sides out. Now that I have it turned right side out, my pocket's going to go inside, so I'm going to just open this back up and push my lining in. So now that I have everything turned and positioned how I want it, it's time to close off that 4-inch hole. So I'm just going to put these together. I'm going to just sew a little seam right down to close it up. So now that we're at this stage, what we have to do is create buttonholes essentially on both sides. Let me show you how you do that. So I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine. And right where my seams come together, about a 1/4 inch away from my seam, which I'll still be using my 1/4 inch foot here, I'm just going to sew down and go back and forth just like that. And as you can see, I have a seam right there. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my needle and I'm going to rotate my bag so I can do the bottom portion of this. And again, I'll go back and forth. Turn my bag, and now I'll do the top portion. And to finish it off, I'm just going to go back and forth on the top. Then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that seam. That way I can pull my drawstring through this opening. I'm going to do the exact same on this side, and we'll be right back. So I've got my buttonholes on both sides. Now it's time to take out my seam ripper and open back up this seam. I'm going to open up the seam on the back as well. I'm going to repeat this step on the back or on the other side. Now follow this next step with me because it is a little bit difficult. What you gotta do is you gotta take your strap here and you're going to put it in on the same side that the strap is on, through the buttonhole, going through the inner side of the bag. Like so. From here, you're gonna take your strap and you're gonna lay it across to the opposite side of the bag. I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this other side. So I'm gonna take my strap, I'm going to weave it into this buttonhole. I'm going to lay it down towards the other side of the bag. From here, our next step is we're going to sew our strap onto the opposite side of where our buttonhole is here. So essentially I've got my strap going across. I've got my new strap coming out this buttonhole. I'm going to just put it above it and over to the left just a little bit. From here, I'm going to sew this down right here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. And that is sewn down. I'm going to do the same to this other side, taking it all the way across, crossing right above the strap on the other side, and I'm going to sew right here, holding everything in place. But I'm not sewing down the other strap. I'm only sewing down one strap at a time. Now that these straps are in place, we're going to fold down the edges around our straps here. We want to fold it down a good 1.5 to 2 inches. Once they are folded down, we want to make sure our strap is out of the way. So I've got them really tucked in high, and we're going to just do a top stitch all the way around, closing up our top cuff. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. And with that last seam there, our drawstring bag should be complete. So you should be able to pull on both sides now and it close right up. This is a super fun project with Halloween right around the corner. It makes a great trick-or-treat bag, and it's just a great bag in general. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't be afraid to share it with your friends. As always, we're going to leave instructions on how to make this in the description below. My name's Teancum, teaching how to sew like a pro. We'll see you here next week at Sew Yeah Quilting.